Usha Vance, JD Vance's wife, went on to Fox News this morning to talk about JD Vance's previous comments on childless cat ladies.
There are a few comments that are out there that I have to ask you about. In 2021, JD said, "We are effectively run by a bunch of childless cat ladies, taking aim at government leaders who don't have children." What was your reaction?
Well, I mean, I took a moment to look and actually see what he had said and try to understand what the context was and all that, which is something that I really wish people would do a little bit more often. And the reality is, he made a quip in service of making a point that he wanted to make that was substantive, and it had actual meaning. And I just wish sometimes that people would talk about those things, and that we would spend a lot less time just sort of going through this three-word phrase or that three-word phrase, because what he was really saying is that it can be really hard to be a parent in this country, and sometimes our policies are designed in a way that make it even harder, and we should be asking ourselves, why is that true? What is it about our leadership and the way that they think about the world that makes it so hard sometimes for parents? And that's the conversation that I really think that we should have, and I understand why he was saying that.
Usha, how could we? You're so right. It's us who we just weren't listening to JD Vance, and we took it all out of context, and he was really trying to talk about policy. So let's go back and let's watch JD Vance talk about going to war against childless cat ladies.
The best way to invest in it is to ensure the next generation actually exists. So I think sending those signals via policy, but the cultural messaging of politicians is important. I also think, just to be a little stark about this, I think we have to go to war against the anti-child ideology that exists in our country. A few weeks ago, no, Twitter is not real life, but I forget even what caused it, but there was this ridiculous effort by millennial feminist writers to talk about why having kids was not a good thing, why they were glad they didn't have kids, and even encouraging people who had had children to talk about why they regretted having children, which of course is like
Mother's Day hook.
On Mother's Day, which is like psychologically deranged to ask mothers on Mother's Day to talk about why they regretted having children. And what it made me realize is that so much of what drives elite culture is mediocre millennial journalists who haven't gotten out of their career what they thought they would, right? And the thing is, everybody can be an exceptional mother and father. Not everybody can be an exceptional journalist at the New York Times. And not enough people have accepted that if they put their entire life's meaning into their credential, into where they went to school, into what kind of job they have, if you put all of your life's meaning into that, you're going to be the sort of person who asks women to talk about how they regret having children. You're going to be a sad, lonely, pathetic person, and you're going to know it internally, so you're going to project it onto people who have actually built something more meaningful with their lives. I think we have to go to war against that ideology and the people behind it, because we need to say to the people in my hometown, I've seen this with, just to be honest, with my sister. I love my sister is just the best person. I love her to death. And sometimes, she'll say things to me like, maybe I should have delayed having kids. Maybe I should have went to school. Maybe I should have did this or that. And it's like, Lindsay, you've been a great mom. Your children are happy. They're healthy. You've taken good care of them. You've shown me, she was my older sister. She took care of me a lot in a very chaotic home. People like my sister should not feel like the cultural messaging is your life is inadequate. The people who are sending that message should feel that their life is inadequate. And of course they do. They're just too ashamed about it to talk about it.
Now, did you hear any talk of policy there? No, of course not. Usha, you should be ashamed of yourself that you're having to lie for JD Vance, that you can't be critical of your husband now that he is the vice presidential running mate for Donald Trump. The guy who had all the extramarital affairs, who has many families, and who also really tries to play up the, I'm a Christian and I'm all about the family, which is what Usha and JD Vance are being used for, right? Everyone knows that Donald Trump is a philanderer. He is a disgusting human being. He treats women like they're disposable. Really? I mean, I guess that's just a fair way to say it. And so, of course, they went with JD Vance because they think he's this family guy. And really, when you kind of peel apart the layers of JD Vance and you hear him talk about his sister the way that he did, as if she's somehow brainwashed by the childless cat ladies and that she doesn't have a mind of her own and that she's feeling inadequate and that she feels like she could do more with her life. And his response is, yeah, nah, don't feel that way. These people have an incredibly warped sense and view of our society, a warped view of families. So the idea that these guys are going to be, the protector of American families is a complete joke. And Kamala, she would be happy to have the debate about protecting American families because, Donald Trump cut taxes for his billionaire buddies. No American family saw the benefit of that. Republicans, MAGA, they want to control what books your kids can read. They want to starve your kids in school by not subsidizing lunch programs for all children in our schools. And yet you guys, the Republicans, are the ones who want us to trust that they're going to protect our kids. They're going to work hard for families. Usha, we just listened to JD Vance. There's no policy talk there. You want to know why? Because JD Vance and Donald Trump don't have any policies that will help American families. That's just the way the cookie crumbles in the Republican Party. You have these assholes like JD Vance coming out and talking about going to war against women in this country, and then his wife shamelessly has to come out and lie about what he said. So the idea that Donald Trump is going to somehow win over families using JD Vance and Usha Vance, man, they're going to need a lot more in the election if they want to try to appeal to families, as a whole in this country. Because just going out and being an asshole and talking trash and putting down Americans and then having to lie about it, using your wife as a tool to lie about it, that's not going to cut it. Because, Usha, we have the receipts. Now, I know a lot of these Fox viewers aren't going to watch this video. They're not going to go back and watch JD's comments. But a lot of Americans are. And you're going to have to Donald Trump is going to have to reach outside of Fox News if he wants to win the election, which is looking as the days get closer and Kamala rises in the polls and her fundraising numbers continue to just shatter records. Donald Trump has an uphill battle. And with moments like this, it's very clear that they have no idea what they're doing and that they're constantly taking a step forward and 2 steps back. Let me know what your reflections are of Usha Vance's comments on JD Vance's comments about childless cat ladies in the comments below, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so that you get my future politics and election videos delivered straight to you. Turn on the notifications as well so that you can watch the videos right when they're being released and reflect with us in the comments. And like this video and share it with your friends so that you can bring more people into the fold. It's always good to hear more perspectives, especially at such a crucial time like this with only 90 some odd days, 80 some odd days left before America turns out to vote. Thanks for watching. My name is Brendan Plank with Reflect. See you in the next video.